Hey everyone, happy weekend, happy Friday, blah blah blah. I had a question on the last kind of live stream was what do I think of professional tools like Matco, Snap-on, Cornwell, and I thought that would be a good other topic to discuss tonight. So yeah, my personal opinion is are Matco and Snap-on and Cornwell tools worth it? Definitely, if you have a lot of money to burn. But the problem is most mechanics don't really have a lot of money. And if that's the case, then no, I would not buy those tools. I think for majority of people buying tools at places like Harper Freight, Lowe's, which has Craftsman now, Sears, I guess, is gone. That used to be where I bought most of my Craftsman tools, which are pretty decent quality. And then, obviously at auto parts stores, you can buy tool sets there or Home Depot. But yeah, my opinion is that if you're just a home mechanic, you do things around the house, you're not maybe using them every other day, not all day. Yeah, the Harbor Freight brand is fine. Supposedly, actually, the new Icon tools that Harbor Freight carries that's made by the same company that makes Snap-on tools. Now, people say if you go on Reddit or online forums, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the same quality, but they do come from the same factory. So yeah, I agree with that. They probably tool them slightly differently, but the Icon tools that I've seen reviews of, I don't personally own any. They work pretty well from what I've seen for the quality that you pay. But there's other tool brands like Tecton, which is available via their own website at Amazon. I've seen good reviews of those tools, but mostly what I personally own is Craftsman tools, and I have a lot of like my toolbox that I used to use at when I was working a shop was the Harper Freight branded one, which is actually they make pretty decent toolboxes. Honestly, I've seen a lot of guys in shops with those, and are pretty durable. Honestly, even for day in and day out use, and I've enjoyed using them. But in terms of uh, a lot of times people ask me, do you think these tools are worth it? And the reality is, is like if you're maybe using them every day in and out, but I mean, paying full price for them, even if you're a mechanic just starting out, hard really to justify. I think you got to be making 80, 100,000 to be justifying buying that level of tools. And the reality is most mechanics are not earning that amount of money. I mean, either you would have to be in the game for a while, be an AC master certified tech, or be a maybe like work in luxury cars, like BMW, Lexus, Acura, Cadillac. Those brands, if you've been in it for a while, typically you can earn more money at dealerships just because they charge more money per hour because they're luxury cars. But the average mechanic, or if you're just out of trade school, don't go get like a loan, tool loan for through Snap-on and Matco. I know they offer these for students. They'll even offer discounts for students if you're in trade school to buy some of their tools to get started. But I wouldn't do that. What I would do is there are mechanics that retired and they realize they don't need as many tools. So they'll either sell them at that point, or what they'll do is a lot of times, maybe there can be estate sales where the kids are essentially, like the father passed away and he used to be a mechanic and he has a bunch of tools and they're trying to sell off all their tools. And you can sometimes go to these yard sales, garage sales, find, Matco, Snap-on, Cornwell, Milwaukee, maybe DeWalt tools, which they don't want because they don't really work on their own stuff. And you usually find deals that way. I've heard of people doing that. I've never personally gone bargain hunting like that. I mean, I've checked in a few yard sales like that, and usually I don't find anything. But yeah, you could get lucky once in a while by buying some good Matco or Snap-on tools that way. I've heard of people doing that, kind of loading up on good quality professional tools that way when they're getting started and you don't have a lot of money. But my personal opinion, yeah, just if you're just getting started and you're not sure, I mean, the main thing is that auto mechanics, if you go on YouTube, they don't get paid a ton of money. I mean, as I've already mentioned on here in some of my last videos, the auto parts industry, while I like working in it and I've learned a lot, I appreciate the opportunities I've been given. Yeah, it just doesn't pay that well. And the same is true of auto techs, auto repair mechanics, all that. They don't get paid a ton of money. So if you're going in it and you're thinking, hey, let me go buy these professional level tools right off the bat, it's not a good idea, guys. So, but I do remember when I was newer tech and I had this Craftsman ratchet, and I had borrowed some snap-on ratchets from one of the techs that had been there for a while, and I realized, oh man, the gearing on this is a lot smoother. It's clearly got more gears. I mean, the feel of the tool is a lot better. So snap-on tools definitely are better quality than something that you're going to buy at like Lowe's or whatever. You just have to kind of determine whether, if you're going to be not using them day in and day out, or if you're not earning enough money to really buy them. If you're at like 30 or $50,000 a year, which most mechanics, starting out, that you'd be they're probably making around that. It's just not really worth it. So those are kind of my thoughts this evening about tools. If anyone has questions in the live chat, would be happy to hear them so far. But yeah, I mean, I just don't see the reason to go out and get a tool loan for these from these brands. Sometimes you can't get a personal loan to buy tools. I've seen people do that, but you know, a lot of times, the one guy that I've seen that did that, he was in a motorcycle accident, and then he couldn't pay his tool or car loan, so that was a bit of a problem for him. I mean, that's not really funny, but I've seen it happen. So that, obviously, when you're taking a lot of debt for getting tools, I just don't see how that's worth it. I will say with Harbor Freight, one of the issues though is that the fitment on their cheaper tools is not that good. So the cheaper the tools that they have, like I bought some flare nut wrenches, which are usually I wanted to use for doing the brakes, doing brake flushes on vehicles, and like the fitment on them is pretty terrible. To be honest, I should just throw them out. That's how bad they are. I mean, if you were gonna get flare nut wrenches, yeah, I'd probably go with like Craftsman now, or try and look for like some different brand that's a little more expensive, because the fitment on those is pretty bad. But yeah, I think I still have them in the toolbox, but they're pretty useless, if I'm being honest. And some of the tools at Harbor Freight are like that when you go too cheap. But like I said, the Icon brand, I've heard good things about. I've seen some videos on YouTube, people doing comparisons of Snap-on versus those Icon tool brands, and it seems like they're pretty damn good quality for what you're paying. The impact sockets are supposed to be pretty good as well. Now, one thing that somebody also asked me about was, what do I think of buying metric and standard sizes now? And I said, well, I honestly, typically, if I'm buying a socket, which I haven't done in a while, but I would only buy metric sizes at this point. And the reason is because I don't see a lot of vehicles that have standard size bolts. Now, obviously, if you're talking about American cars, maybe like 2005 ish, yeah, they may have, or not even then. It's probably like pre 2000s, right? Those vehicles, yeah, standard sizing, but most new vehicles, all their bolts and stuff are metric sizes, and the reason for that is because it saves a lot of money across the globe when an automaker has to just buy one size bolt and it's in metric size, and basically they're trying to essentially spread out their costs as much as possible. So most of the vehicles I see, even when I'm doing like a battery change at the auto parts store, they're all metric sizes. So me having to buy standard sockets or whatever doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, like the three sizes that I use to do battery changes at the store are 10 ml, 12 millimeter, and 14 millimeter. and maybe once in a while you use like an 8 or something. But yeah, I mean, majority of vehicles that we see use those sizes, and I don't think I break out the standard wrenches or the sockets often at all. So, but those are my thoughts on professional tools. I think they're very good. They're just overpriced for what you pay. For majority of people, you can get by with just the basic hand tools that you can buy at, like I said, Lowe's, Home Depot, Harbor Freight. That stuff will get you by. But anyway, be happy to answer any questions from the live chat. See, do we have any questions? It doesn't look like it, but anyway, probably end the stream here. But you guys have a great weekend and Friday.